The 111-year-old Alberta Fish and Game Association is Alberta's oldest conservation organization, and it represents in excess of 24,000 members in over 80 clubs in over 450 cities, towns, and villages throughout the province. The AFGA is a volunteer-based, not-for-profit charitable organization that advocates the common interests of ethical hunters, anglers, and outdoor enthusiasts, dedicated to the responsible stewardship of Alberta's environment. It is recognized by all levels of government as the official spokesperson for organized hunters and anglers interested in the conservation of fish and wildlife. It's our members that make the organization such a powerful force in conservation, and being a member adds volume to that voice. If you are a hunter, angler, or just love the outdoors, you can't afford not to be a member. The Wildlife Trust Fund is Alberta's oldest and most respected land trust, and has grown to include over 100 properties that stretch from the US border in the south all the way north to Manning. These properties encompass in excess of 45,000 acres of important fish and wildlife habitat. In addition to conserving critical wildlife habitat, Wildlife Trust Fund properties provide recreational opportunities for all outdoor enthusiasts. With recreational access becoming increasingly difficult to find and habitat disappearing at a rapid rate, these properties are becoming more critical than ever and are only possible through the generosity of our clubs. In 2018, the Wildlife Trust Fund acquired 8 new properties that encompass nearly 2,000 acres of important wildlife habitat. None of this would have been possible without our clubs and members identifying new properties, fundraising, and stepping up to steward conservation sites to ensure we get the most benefit possible for our wildlife resources.
Hi, I'm Brad Fenson, Habitat Development Coordinator with the Alberta Fish and Game Association, and I help manage the Wildlife Trust Fund, which is the oldest conservation land trust in Alberta, established in 1983, celebrating 35 years of conserving critical habitat in our province. The Wildlife Trust Fund is the oldest conservation land trust in the province and was created from progressive thinking AFGA executive and members that saw the need for protecting critical habitat and advancing conservation efforts for all Albertans. Our clubs and zones are still the solid foundation of our land trust, and without them, there is no way over 45,000 acres could have been secured and managed. Our members should be extremely proud of the contribution to conservation they made in 2018 and in the past 3.5 decades. The Alberta Fish and Game Association expanded its working relationship with the Alberta Conservation Association this year. Partnerships with groups like the ACA are the main reason we've been able to be so successful over the years. This year we've taken things a step further. We're sharing a bunch of titles on different properties that were owned by individual organizations to build capacity, to advance the conservation movement within Alberta, and to allow us to manage them more successfully. It's something we've been talking about for a lot of years, and this year we started to make it happen. The Wildlife Trust Fund and ACA shared titles on 18 different properties in 2018 to combine the strengths of both organizations. Our members and volunteer stewards will help with regular inspections on these newly acquired lands, and the staff from both organizations will continue to deal with administration and achieving management goals. One of the most exciting acquisitions we had this year was the Porter property near Caroline. It was made feasible by an online fundraising campaign started by the Alberta Conservation Association. Of course, Alberta Fish and Game partnered with the ACA. We also brought in Trout Unlimited and other conservation groups with interest in our fisheries to secure this 153-acre site with over a mile of the renowned Raven River flowing through it. The Porter property sits adjacent to our 155-acre Drake property, creating 300 acres of contiguous habitat with the Raven River running through the heart of both properties. This section of the Raven is a world-renowned stretch of river for brown trout, and several spawning reds have been identified this past fall. The habitat adjacent to the river is a pristine old-growth forest that is home to elk, mule deer, whitetails, moose, black and grizzly bears, and a large number of other mammals and birds. Ducks can routinely be found on the river, and ruffed grouse are abundant. Had this property not been secured, it would have undoubtedly been subdivided and the pristine habitat lost forever, and additional stress placed on the river. The purchase of the Porter property is a classic example of what can be achieved when conservation groups and the public come together to conserve important habitat. This piece ties together a string of Crown and private conservation lands to conserve a contiguous corridor of wildlife and fish values along the North Raven River. The Porter and Drake properties are two of the crown jewels of the Wildlife Trust Fund, and we would encourage all of our members to get out and visit these unique properties. The 320-acre Musadora 2 site sits approximately 18 kilometers southeast of Two Hills, Alberta. Our partners on this project were the Alberta Conservation Association and the Suncor Energy Foundation. The unique thing about the Musadora 2 site is it is adjacent to a large number of other conservation sites in the area. The landscape gives rise to rolling hills of aspen-dominated forest, small pockets of seasonal wetlands, and a 30-acre open field in the northeast corner. It is home to a wide variety of wildlife. Whitetails, mule deer, moose, and even black bears are regular residents on this property, and the wetlands are home to numerous species of waterfowl. There are over 2,000 acres of conserved land within a 5-kilometer radius of this property. The acquisition of the Musadora 2 property will enhance the habitat connectivity and the habitat values of the existing protected areas. This would be a great property to explore if you've never visited a conservation site. There are numerous game trails, so don't be surprised if you run into one of the property's four-legged friends. The 464-acre Chinook property is one of the most recent acquisitions for the Wildlife Trust Fund. We obtained this property in conjunction with the Alberta Conservation Association and the Chinook chapter of Pheasants Forever. The property is primarily native habitat and features rugged topography with very steep coulees and rugged hills. A seasonal creek also runs through the property. Mule deer are regular residents, and white-tailed deer are quite abundant on the hayfields adjacent to the creek. Pheasants and sharp-tailed grouse can be found in the heavy cover along the creek and in the coulee bottoms. Pronghorn and elk are also occasionally found on the Chinook property, and it will be included in future antelope fencing projects. With native habitat disappearing at a rapid rate on the prairie, conserving properties like this one, located southeast of Medicine Hat, is more critical than ever. The Chinook property was intensively grazed as part of a working cattle ranch in the past, and will be idled until such time that the grasslands are re-established to a healthy state and can support conservation grazing. This is another property that we are looking for volunteer stewards for, so please contact Habitat staff if you are interested. The 440-acre East Deadwood property is located about 30 kilometers southeast of Manning, Alberta, and it consists of mixed-wood boreal forest with some interspersed tame hayfields. Partners in East Deadwood property include the Alberta Conservation Association, Ducks Unlimited Canada, Nature Conservancy of Canada, Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation Canada, and the Suncor Energy Foundation. Located within the dry mixed-wood natural subregion of the boreal forest, the land is located in the White Zone and is an important habitat property in an area where conversion to agriculture is high. The forest portion of the property to the north provides excellent cover for a variety of wildlife, while a number of hayfields to the south provide the important source of feed for area ungulates. The forested area is primarily comprised of white spruce, trembling aspen, and black spruce with a healthy understory. The hayfields will be managed as a winter feeding area for elk, moose, whitetail, and mule deer. Don't be surprised if you run into a black bear on this property as well. The North Vilna property is located just northeast of the town of Vilna, and it's comprised of a mixed-wood forest with a diversity of wetlands and creeks. It sits adjacent to several other conservation properties in the area, creating an important block of native habitat. This 161-acre property is home to a wide variety of wildlife, including a healthy population of moose, mule deer, and whitetails. Black bears are also regular inhabitants of the North Vilna property. Waterfowl is plentiful in the wetlands, and several colonies of beavers are found along the creek. The North Vilna property will be managed strictly as a habitat site, and it will provide excellent hunting and other outdoor opportunities for all Albertans. With land in the region being converted to agricultural use at a rapid rate, conserving intact blocks of native habitat like this is critical to area wildlife. This site sits adjacent to a Ducks Unlimited Canada conservation site, and there are several additional sites in the area. The 160-acre Musadora 3 project is located about 17 kilometers southeast of Two Hills, Alberta, and was purchased in conjunction with the Alberta Conservation Association and the Suncor Energy Foundation. It sits adjacent to several other sites encompassing over 2,000 acres of important habitat. This property consists largely of aspen forest with small open fields and scattered shallow wetlands. It's the mosaic of habitat types that makes this property so unique and important to area wildlife. You'll find moose, whitetails, and mule deer on the property, and a variety of upland birds and waterfowl. Finding intact pieces of habitat with such a wide range of values as found on Musadora 3 is becoming increasingly difficult, and conserving these properties in a region of high agricultural conversion is more critical than ever. This would be a great property for hunters or for those just looking to connect with nature to check out. The 150-acre Schroeder property is located about 17 kilometers southeast of Red Deer and is owned jointly with the Alberta Conservation Association. The site consists of a large south-facing slope and topography that creates strong updrafts, which are ideal for observing soaring raptors. This property is comprised of aspen stands and a mix of agricultural fields, and there are several productive wetlands on the site. Disturbed areas are being managed to naturalize them back to the native habitat to provide feed and cover for a wide variety of birds and mammals. Tree Canada planted 70,000 aspen and 30,000 white spruce at this site. Wildlife found in the area includes whitetails and mule deer, moose, grouse, waterfowl, and a variety of small mammals and parkland birds. This site also offers Saskatoon and chokecherry picking opportunities. We are actively seeking volunteer stewards to help us ensure this important habitat is properly managed and the conservation values conserved and enhanced. The Link Conservation Site is 161 acres in size and is located about 16 kilometers southeast of Bashall, Alberta, and sits just northwest of our Buffalo Lake Moraine Conservation Area. The site is owned by the Alberta Conservation Association and AFGA, with support from Alberta Sport, Recreation Parks and Wildlife Foundation. Tree Canada and Shell Canada planted an old hayfield with aspen wisps in 2007, and native vegetation is rapidly re-establishing on this land. The rolling terrain has several wetlands that are home to several species of waterfowl. This area boasts a waterfowl density of 21 to 40 breeding pairs per square mile and is rated very important for wetland retention. Whitetails, mule deer, and moose are also regularly found on the property. With native parkland habitat disappearing rapidly, allowing properties like this to naturalize are a critical part of habitat conservation and restoration in the area. The backbone of our Wildlife Trust Fund continues to be our affiliated clubs and members. Without them, we wouldn't have been able to achieve so much in such little time. From fundraising to stewardship activities, our volunteers and members have taken the Wildlife Trust Fund to new heights. In just 35 years, we've secured over 45,000 acres of habitat, which is not only a legacy for future generations, but we also fulfilled the dream of the AFGA executive and membership way back to 1983. While property securement is the cornerstone of the Wildlife Trust Fund, there are a lot of other responsibilities involved in owning more than 45,000 acres of land in the province. These include grazing leases, oil and gas development, fencing, access issues, livestock management, noxious weed control, property inspections, neighboring landowner relations, liaison with conservation groups, referrals, habitat assessment and evaluation, and working with our volunteer stewards.
Proper management of these properties depends heavily on AFGA members, and we have established a volunteer stewardship program to ensure they are well looked after. Volunteer stewards conduct biannual inspections and assist habitat staff with maintenance and special projects. With such a large number of properties located right across the province, there's no way these properties could be properly cared for without the dedication of our volunteer stewards. The Pronghorn Corridor Enhancement Project is a joint initiative between the Alberta Fish and Game Association and the Alberta Conservation Association. We have worked together with private landowners in southern Alberta to remove fences that are barriers to pronghorn movement and to replace barbed wire with smooth wire on bottom strands to facilitate easier movement by antelope. This project is only made possible by the thousands of volunteer hours that AFGA members commit. In the past 6 years, hundreds of miles of fences have been made more pronghorn friendly. With pronghorns at the northern extent of their range in Alberta, projects like this are more important than ever in ensuring the future of pronghorn in the province.
The antelope fencing program is a great program for the Alberta Fish and Game to be involved in. It's something that you can participate easily in. It's not overly strenuous in any way. Usually the group that's down there, we've got groups ahead of us pulling the wire down, and then we're respacing the wire. You can see right away the benefit of having that because the bottom wire is totally barbless, and you know right away that it's great for the antelope and that they can cross just about anywhere, because normally antelope have their established crossing points, but when you put the bottom wire at 18 inches off the ground, basically, they can cross anywhere. I remember one event that I was at several years ago, we actually looked back and we actually saw an antelope buck crossing the fence. That was cool to see right away, the fruits of your labor, if you will. You know, it's been a great event to be involved in. I've done it for about 7 years now. I truly think it's a way of giving back to nature, giving back to wildlife. And part of my club's SARC Fish and Game involvement is we have basically set up a budget each year to help offset the costs of some of our members going down to participate in it. It's a way of our members participating and not necessarily bearing the full brunt of volunteer costs.
So the Antelope Fencing Project in southern Alberta is a great project for local fish and game clubs to get involved in. A lot of the clubs are always looking for something to contribute in some way, a small project. It's a great thing to do. Go down on a weekend, you see the results almost immediately. There's been a lot of times working the project that you look back at the end of the day and you can see the antelope already crossing under the new fence that you've just put up. It's really a good feeling to know that the results that you are creating are there and there to stay. I know the landowners also appreciate the work that we do. They've got a quality project at the end of it. It's one that benefits them, and it's one that benefits the wildlife as well. It's a great chance for fish and game members and members of the general public to get involved, go down, spend some time, and have some fun with a great group of people for a good cause. We have a lot of fun when we're there. It's a great group. We get divided up into teams, and usually by the end of the second day, you're a pretty tight-knit group. Not all the fun is had on the fence line. There's a lot of opportunity in the evenings to get together, tell stories of how the day went, and sort of talk about the things that we all love to do.
Youth are the future of the Alberta Fish and Game Association, and we run many programs to help foster their love and understanding of the outdoors. These include mentored hunts, wildlife and habitat projects, as well as providing a number of educational programs through our various clubs throughout Alberta. These youngsters are our future hunters and anglers, and by involving them in these programs at a young age, we can ensure that the future of our precious fish and wildlife resources is in good hands. Several youth camps are also held each year, and youngsters have the opportunity to learn about firearms, archery, boating, and a host of other outdoor activities. Thousands of Alberta's hunters and anglers got their start at an AFGA youth camp.
I'm Maya Clark and I'm the AFGA Youth President, and I've been involved in Alberta Fish and Game since I was born. My parents have been involved since when they were little too, and I've grown up in the Alberta Fish and Game. And there is a lot to do in the Fish and Game. There's lots of opportunities for the youth. There's the pheasant programs, there's youth camps, there's mentor hunts, there's a whole bunch of things that you can do. You get to help conserve the wildlife for not only yourself but for future generations as well. And you get to meet a lot of people from all over the place who all have common goals and love the outdoors as much as you do. I have a great time. I love going out to different events and helping out and volunteering. If you want to become more involved in your youth in Alberta, you can contact your local Fish and Game Club, or you can contact the youth president or anyone really in the Alberta Fish and Game.
Here at the Sarcee Fish and Game, we've started, about 10 years ago, we started a mentor hunt program where we take inner city kids, anybody in the area who has a non-hunting influence in their family that would like to learn how to hunt. And a few of us have taken it on, and we put the kids through hunter's ed. We teach them how to shoot, a couple of range days a year. And then in the end, like during hunting season, we do like a one weekend, we take them out and get them out hunting. You know, some kids shoot something, some don't, but hunting's not about the harvest, it's about the hunt. So over the years, it's been very successful. And even some of the members, you know, the kids that have stayed on as club members, they've become good club members. Parents are good club members helping out. Even the booth here, I see tomorrow night, one of the girls that went through the program years ago is going to be doing the work in the booth. So their whole family's become club members, and it's all worked out great.
Women play an ever-increasing role in the outdoors, and each year we hold camps specifically for them. The Becoming an Outdoor Women's program is designed for ladies interested in honing their outdoor skills and learning more about archery and firearms. The camps offer a very fun and friendly environment for women to learn and make new outdoor friends.
Hi, I'm Deb Clark. I'm the Alberta Fish and Game Association Zone 2 Director, and I'm involved also in the Alberta Fish and Game Executive as the Zone 2 Director. I've been involved in Fish and Game since a very young age and got actively involved in the Lethbridge Fish and Game Club when I was 17, and since then I've held an active position in a number of fish and game clubs as well at the zone level. There's lots of opportunities for women to get involved in fish and game. One being the Becoming an Outdoors Women program. They call it the BOW program for short. And it's done at the Narrow Lake Youth Camp up near Athabasca, where ladies come together and they learn different activities such as archery and shooting and cooking over an open fire, and they do a lot of other fun things as well. There's lots of opportunities for other opportunities for ladies to get involved as well. A number of fish and game clubs have Ladies League. It initially was started with the Onaway Club, and they have the ladies come once a month, and they do everything from learning how to chop wood to chainsaw to safety classes to craft nights. It's not all outdoors, so it's a great opportunity to get to know people in your local area and join in and get involved. It's not an old boys club. There's always that connotation out there, and people think that that's what fish and game's all about, but there isn't. There's opportunities for women to get involved in all aspects of fish and game, for the fact that you can get involved at the club level, you can take on executive positions, you can work with programs and doing things in the outdoors, you can work with youth, you can work with the Wildlife Trust Fund, and you'll have a lot of fun and enjoy fish and game in the outdoors and your fellow outdoorsmen.
Another important program delivered by the Alberta Fish and Game Association is Operation Grassland Community. This stewardship program works directly with landholders in Alberta to secure and enhance prairie wildlife habitats for species at risk. OGC believes that prairie habitats can be wisely used, ensuring the sustainability of both wildlife habitats and agricultural livelihoods. Over the past decade, OGC has established voluntary stewardship agreements with over 300 landholders who are voluntarily protecting over 900,000 acres of native prairie habitat in southern Alberta. In 2013, the Alberta Fish and Game Association took over administration and the sale of the Minister's Special Raffle and Auction licenses, and are proud to be doing it again in 2019. These special licenses for bighorn sheep, elk, and mule deer raise a significant amount of funds for conservation and education projects throughout the province. The lucky winner of the elk license will have a unique opportunity to hunt the entire province outside of regular seasons. Traditionally, elk have been found throughout the foothills and subalpine regions of Alberta, but now they are very plentiful in the parkland and prairie regions of the province as well. Recent special minister license hunts have produced some exceptional elk, and the opportunity to harvest a bull in excess of 400 inches exists. The lucky winner will be able to hunt some of North America's biggest elk during a season that extends to December 31st. The mule deer license is the most recent of the special licenses. Mule deer are widely distributed throughout Alberta, and their numbers have steadily increased to an estimated population of 175,000 animals. Alberta is well known for producing monster bucks, including the #1 non-typical in the world. Recent special minister license hunts have produced some exceptional bucks, and the opportunity to take a deer in excess of 200 inches exists. The lucky winner will be able to hunt some of North America's largest mule deer during a season that extends to December 31st. The Minister's Special Bighorn Sheep License is the premier license. Alberta's provincial mammal, the Rocky Mountain Bighorn sheep, is world-renowned both for its size and the magnificent habitat it occupies. Alberta Rams currently occupy 6 of the top 10 spots in the Boone and Crockett record book, including numbers 2 and 3. Alberta has produced several exceptional rams in the past decade that continue to rewrite the record books. The lucky winner will have the opportunity to hunt a special season that extends to December 15th. Minister's special license hunts have produced some exceptional rams, including the largest hunter-killed ram in the world. The possibility to take a once-in-a-lifetime trophy is a reality. The restricted funds are used by the Alberta Fish and Game Association solely for the purpose of covering the costs of implementing and carrying out conservation programs in Alberta. In order to achieve this, AFGA uses a committee comprised of various conservation organizations to make recommendations for conservation programs related to habitat improvement and fish and wildlife management. During the course of the 5 years funding, over $1 million was granted and spent on projects such as all 3 of the special licenses are auctioned off at the Wild Sheep Show, and even if you aren't the lucky bidder, you'll have the satisfaction of knowing that a minimum of 60% of the total dollars raised by each of the 3 species will be allocated to projects deemed beneficial to that species. This money is used on the ground to enhance Alberta's fish and wildlife. We encourage everyone to bid generously on the auction licenses and for Alberta residents to support the purchasing of these tickets, as you not only have the opportunity to participate in North America's premier hunts, you are contributing to the future of wildlife in Alberta. The Alberta Fish and Game Association is a strong voice in protecting the rights of hunters and anglers in Alberta. In addition to adding your voice to the largest conservation organization in the province, your AFGA membership includes all hunters and anglers in the province should become members of the Alberta Fish and Game Association. The cost of membership is low, and the strength of our voice grows with each member. We are the voice of anglers and hunters in Alberta. Be certain you are heard. Join today.